Friendship isn't missing. It's just rare. They'll say, you don't have enough friends. Like it's a sign of failure, like being alone means something is broken. But maybe what's missing isn't friendship. It's noise. It's pretending. It's the need to be surrounded just to feel seen. Because not everyone who walks alone is lonely. And not everyone who's surrounded is loved. This video isn't about finding people. It's about finding peace. When the room is empty, when the messages stop, when no one checks in, it's about the kind of self that doesn't crave attention to feel alive. And if that's you, you're not missing anything. You're just further ahead than they can understand. Let's begin. Alone, broken. They look at your silence and assume something's wrong. You're too quiet. You're always alone. You should go out more. But here's the truth. Alone is not a diagnosis. It's not a symptom. It's a choice. A space you protect, so your mind has room to breathe. So your life doesn't get filled with people who only half care, half listen, half stay. Alone means you're not afraid of your own company. You don't need noise to prove you're alive. You don't need people to feel like a person. The Stoics lived this way. Not isolated, but intact. They didn't fear loneliness. They feared losing themselves in the wrong crowd. Because it's better to walk alone in full peace than to shrink yourself to fit where you don't belong. So the next time they say you're too alone, remember, alone is not broken. Alone is not empty. Alone is not less. It's just uncrowded. Silence is a filter. They think your silence is emptiness, a gap to be filled, a weakness to be fixed. But real silence? It's not absence, it's intention. It's the space where truth echoes louder than small talk ever could. Because when you go quiet, people reveal themselves. Some get uncomfortable, some get offended, some leave. And that's the point. Silence filters out the ones who only came for noise, the ones who needed distraction, not depth. The Stoics didn't keep quiet because they had nothing to say. They kept quiet because most things didn't deserve a response. When you stop talking, you start seeing who leans in, who disappears, who tries to fill the space because they can't handle the weight of it. And when you find someone who can sit in your silence without needing to break it, you've found something real. Until then, let silence do what noise never could. Separate the loud from the loyal. Friendships require depth. Most people aren't looking for connection. They're looking for distraction, a crowd to hide in, a role to play. But you've outgrown shallow. Because when you stop pretending, you realize how rare real connection actually is. You stop craving company just for the sake of not being alone. You stop faking smiles just to keep conversations alive. The Stoics didn't collect people. They cultivated truth. One voice, one soul, one presence that didn't drain them was worth more than 100 empty ones. You don't need many. You just need mutuality. Someone who listens without waiting to speak. Someone who sees you without needing you to perform. Friendship isn't loud. It doesn't chase. It doesn't decorate your life to impress outsiders. It lives in the quiet, in eye contact, in silence that feels full instead of awkward. Let others chase crowds. You build something deeper, because one real connection is enough to remind you you were never hard to love. They just weren't deep enough to reach you. Trust is built slow. They say you should open up more. As if trust is a switch, as if depth happens on demand. But the truth is, trust isn't fast. It's not forced, and it's never owed. It's not about sharing everything. It's about choosing who can hold it without dropping you in return. You've been burned. We all have. Shared too soon. Believed too quick. Let the wrong ones get close and watch them leave with pieces you never got back. So now, you build slow, you test in silence, you listen longer than you speak. And when someone proves they can sit in your silence without filling it with ego, then you open, then you trust. The Stoics didn't call everyone a friend, because not everyone is. A real connection doesn't demand access, it earns it. Day by day, word by word, stillness by stillness. And if someone thinks you're too guarded, let them go. You're not cold, you're just careful. And that is called wisdom. Be selective without apology. You don't let many in. Not because you're cruel, but because you've seen too much. You've watched fake smiles turn sharp, empty words dressed up like loyalty, kindness used as a mask for something colder underneath. So now, you don't entertain everyone. You don't explain your silence. You don't apologize for being selective, because your space is sacred. Your mind is limited real estate, and not everyone deserves to live there, even for a moment. The Stoics weren't rude. They were precise. They knew energy was currency, and presence was a gift, never to be handed out carelessly. Let people call you distant. Let them call you hard to reach. You're not rude, you're rooted. You're not antisocial, you're anti-fake. There's no shame in choosing quality over access. Let others chase popularity. You protect your peace. And if someone can't respect that boundary, they were never meant to cross it in the first place. Friendship is a bonus, not a need. You don't need to be surrounded to feel complete. You don't need to be liked to know your value. Because friendship, real friendship, is not a requirement. It's a bonus. Something that adds to your peace, not replaces it. Something that walks beside you, not drags you to feel enough. The Stoics didn't fear being alone. They feared depending on the wrong people just to feel alive. And when you truly know yourself, you stop seeking. You start selecting. You don't reach to be seen. You stay still and let the ones who matter step forward. And if no one comes, you're still whole, still grounded, still in rhythm with your own breath. Because the goal was never to impress, it was to inhabit your own life, without waiting for someone else to give it meaning. You're not incomplete. You're just no longer interested in borrowing company to escape your own silence. That's not loneliness, that's mastery. Your silence isn't empty. They'll say it's loneliness, that silence means absence, that having few or none is a red flag. But they don't understand. Your silence isn't a signal of emptiness. It's a sign of selection, of intention, of knowing that energy is not free, and neither are you. You didn't disappear, you just became private. You didn't give up, you just stopped proving. Because real presence doesn't need a crowd to be felt. It doesn't need applause to be real. It just is, in the way you move, in the way you guard what matters, in the way you stop reaching for people who only meet you halfway. You've learned this. Peace is not the absence of people, it's the absence of pretending. And you've seen it too many times. Loud rooms filled with empty connection, busy chats that say nothing, smiles that disappear as soon as you stop performing. So now, you choose depth over noise, clarity over chaos, presence over performance. And if that makes you hard to understand, good. You weren't built to be understood by everyone. You were built to be unmoved by what isn't real. Let them chase visibility. You'll chase integrity. Let them collect names. You'll protect your peace, because you don't need more friends. You need fewer leaks, fewer pretenders, fewer places to lose yourself. And if in the end you stand alone, you won't be empty. You'll be full of stillness, of strength, of everything they were too loud to feel. And that is the kind of presence that never disappears, even in silence.